From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 473. Today's show is brought to you by Masterclass, Clean My Mac X, and indeed, I have returned to the show, and verily thine introduce, Federico Vitici.
Hello, Myke. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. Well, you know, you hear me. It ain't right, is it? It just ain't right. But I'm back.
You have. Yeah, I mean, you sound good.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you do. I love this kind of deeper Myke voice.
Hi, Federico.
Yeah,
like
well,
that?
not that deep. Yeah.
That's too far. Okay, cool.
It's also my pleasure to introduce Mr. Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, boys.
Oh, that didn't sound good. You messed. I feel like your voice broke when you were low.
It did.
Which is,
No, it cracked right in the middle.
I don't think that's supposed to happen. Did you manage that? That was interesting.
Hello, boys.
I would like to thank everyone for the song recommendations. I think the phrase you were looking for, by the way, boys, was elements. I think that was what you actually wanted people to send me.
Rather than minerals.
Minerals and metals.
We couldn't do it.
I was like, had that situation where I was screaming at the podcast, you know, like, you want elements. That's the word you're looking for. But minerals, I did receive lots of songs about minerals and metals. Interestingly, this has not happened before, so people used to send tweets, right? Like that was how we did all this stuff. This time, I received these song recommendations as public Mastodon replies, private Mastodon replies, on threads, as Instagram DMs, and over iMessage. So
Nice.
It was a full attack from every vector possible.
Okay.
I don't think I got any emails, but maybe I did, and I just blocked that sender forever. So that probably was what would have happened.
I have some real-time follow-up.
Fantastic.
As we speak, iOS 17.1 is rolling out. Finally, it's out.
I can now delete the question I put into follow-up, which is, aren't we expecting 17.1 by now? The answer is yes, it's here.
Yeah, it's out right now. iOS, iPadOS 17.1, watchOS 10.1, tvOS, whatever version.
Double tap. Myke can test it.
Yeah, double tap.
Yeah,
you can.
I'm the only one who can do it. So
Myke can report
I'm going to be
back.
the double tap guy. You know, that's going to be my new thing.
I have a story that I wrote about iOS and iPadOS 17.1. Not a huge release. Really, the majority of changes are in the music app for the new playlist stuff that they're doing, like cover templates, song suggestions, the new favorites instead of loving songs. And for iPad users, you can now shift return in Spotlight to add the current app result to Stage Manager. So
there's a lot of stuff still expected to come in the next few months, right?
Yeah. There's the journal app, the new emoji, the tap back reactions.
Oh my God, that's still not there?
No,
what are
not
they
there.
doing? Also, where are the emoji?
Mm-hmm.
Like, surely that should have been by now, right?
Yes, it should have been.
Yes. Well, look, I'm sick. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'm sick, and I'm here, I wouldn't miss this episode, so here I am. What's the deal with tapbacks? Okay, well, Federico, I'll put your story in the show notes so people can go read it and find out everything that's new in 17.1.
We also have another piece of follow-up that I was discussing with Myke and iMessage. The X-Real company, the company that makes the glasses that I have, the X-Real Air, they just officially rolled out in Europe and in the US the new version, the second generation of the X-Real glasses. So they have the X-Real Air 2 and the X-Real Air 2 Pro. These are not a huge upgrade. Basically, the X-Real Air 2, they have a slightly more comfortable design for the nose pads and the side arms of the glasses, but they're using the same display, they're using the same field of view, same resolution, nothing is changing there. The X-Real Air 2 Pro, they have this new type of lenses that are actually also found on a competing product called the Vichor 1. I forget the term, but these are basically lenses that allow you to dim the lens itself. So you can make them transparent or darker if you don't want to see what's beyond the lenses. I still think this is not a huge upgrade. Effectively, you're still using the same glasses with the same resolution, same USB-C cable, same 46-degree field of view in front of you. And I was actually hoping for upgrades to the beam accessory, which is the little battery pack that we discussed that allows you to enable like proper spatial computing, positioning for the virtual monitors, but there's no update on the beam, whether it's a hardware refresh or a software update. So I was kind of disappointed by that. I am keeping my first generation X-Real Air glasses. I've been using them a lot, and I'm in fact waiting for 2 different cables to simplify, because I realized something, guys, that if I'm using the iPad with my glasses, I cannot charge my iPad at the same time. So that's a problem.
Oh yeah, you need to just Velcro a like USB-C hub to the back of it.
Or I could get one of these modern USB-C video splitters. There's apparently, after a lot of research and a lot of time spent on Reddit, there's 2 cables that should be able to accomplish what I want. One is it's made by a company called Red Magic. And this company, they make these phones called the Red Magic Nubia. I have no idea what they are.
You are in a world of technology that nobody knows exists except you and people on Reddit. Like
people on Reddit and John, because I also.
Well, I mean, poor John.
John seems to be enjoying this, but I sort of
he seems to be. Evidence suggests he enjoys.
I think he's liking this. I don't know.
That's like when you fall in love with your kidnapper. That's what's going on with John.
Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome.
Anyway, so I am waiting for 2 cables. One is the Red Magic Nubia USB-C adapter. This is just a USB-C video splitter that supports charging up to, I want to say 100 watts USB-C. And the second USB-C port you can use for video out. And I also got a similar adapter by Vichor, the other company that makes glasses. I bought this upcoming adapter separately. I just got the accessory from their website, and it shipped a couple of days ago from China. So now I'm waiting, and I will report back because I need to be able to charge my iPad when I use the glasses.
I guess if you were using the Magic Keyboard, you could charge it through the thing on the Magic Keyboard, but I guess you're not always doing that.
Yeah, speaking of that, I also, and this is actually already here, and I'm going to test it tonight. All of this is in preparation for this sort of setup that I wanted to have at night. Okay. So I realized, it's kind of inconvenient to use the iPad with the Magic Keyboard case while I'm lying in bed using the glasses.
Yeah, the angles are all wrong.
The angles are wrong. So here's my thought. I'm just going to put the iPad on the nightstand somewhere with this upcoming cable that hopefully will work. I got from 12 South the Magic Bridge accessory. So this is like a little plastic thing that can hold together a Magic Keyboard, like the desktop Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad.
Oh, you were just talking about this, right?
Yeah, mentioned it last week.
Yeah, I got it. It's perfect. So now I have an integrated, like a single...
Oh, yeah, that's all you need. You don't need the iPad. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can just keep that on my lap, the glasses on, cables going to the nightstand, and in theory, I should just be able to work that way. So yeah, but I don't have the cable at this point, so I will report back.
Do using the glasses, does that impact the iPad battery in a meaningful way?
I haven't run any proper tests.
No benchmarks.
Or benchmarks with my eyes. No, I don't think so. But I should actually try this with proper science. See what happens.
Stephen, I wanted to get a vibe check from you on something.
Yeah.
Just want to see how this makes you feel. Urban Outfitters have been selling vintage iPod and iPod minis.
What?
They do now all appear to be sold out. This is part of what they are calling their Vintage Retro Tech Initiative. The iPod mini was $199, which is way more expensive than the iPod mini originally was. And the iPod Color and Classic were $349. They were all sold out. This is, I think, they were doing this because it's the 22nd anniversary or something of the iPod.
It is.
And so they were selling them to a bunch of teenagers, I guess, who want to use them for TikTok, I suppose. Like, this is what I'm not being like disparaging. Like, I just can't understand why else they were doing this and why they sold so fast. I guess it's like how people of my age like vinyl, and then there's a age younger who like cassette, and now the maybe the gen. What would it be? What's the one under? It's not Z. Like, what's the next one? Alpha. Maybe they want iPods. I don't know.
Well, no, my kids are.
Z.
My kids are. We've talked about this. My kids are like on the brink of Alpha and Z. But
wait, there's now a Gen Alpha. There's a Gen Alpha now.
It's got to wrap around again, right? What'd you go do after Z?
They need to stop with all these gens. It's useless.
Okay.
Like when you're old, you're old. When you're young. All these terminologies are useless.
Here we go.
Nobody cares anymore.
Scientists and popular. We've done this exact thing on the show. Scientists and popular media use the early 2010s as starting birth year. So my oldest is Gen Z, but my younger two are Gen Alpha. But yeah, this is a thing, right? This is there are people who swear by like, hey, I'm gonna have an iPod, and it's like, it's not that different than I think what Federico does, but it's the iPod part that makes it exciting, I guess, to people. But I feel ancient and I hate it.
I wish they would get rid of the letters, and like, I like boomers, millennials, and zoomers. These are just like good words. These are just fun words. Like, if you can't have a good catchy word, then you can't
because it's also because it sounds like a Pokemon evolution, especially boomer to zoomer.
Boomer to zoomer, yeah.
Like it feels like going from
to zoomer.
It feels like going from Charmander to Charmeleon, whatever. What's the name of the middle one?
Ramon. Gen Pro, Gen Pro Max, Gen Ultra.
Love it.
That's really good.
That's what we want. They gotta be good names. Millennial's a good name.
Yeah.
Zoomer's a good name.
We're all millennials here. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Masterclass, where learning something new feels good. Myke, tell me about your experience with Masterclass.
Listeners of this show may know that I'm a Formula One fan, and my favorite Formula One driver and someone I consider a role model is Lewis Hamilton. Sir Lewis Hamilton, I'll say. Lewis, that's true. Lewis did a masterclass class called about having a winning mindset. And I found this fascinating. I've been fascinated for a long time with like Lewis's mentality of success and how he approaches that and how he attacks that. And that's what he talks about in his masterclass. And the main thing that I took away from it was the idea of how, the thing that he talks about quite a lot and goes into a lot of detail on, is the idea of getting your mind, your fitness, and your general health right. And if you can focus on these things, then you're able to kind of better the other things in your life and excel at other things in your life. I found it really inspiring. Like, it was just like a very inspiring class to go through on Masterclass, and I really, really liked it.
This fall, you can learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. From leadership to effective communication to cooking classes. Whether you're watching Masterclass on TV, listening in audio mode, in the app, or on their site, their quality speaks for itself. Masterclass instructors can kind of act as your own mentors, like Myke said, and help you reach the next level. How much would it cost to take a one-on-one class from the world's best? Easily hundreds of thousands of dollars. But with Masterclass, an annual membership is just $10 a month. Memberships start at $120 a year for unlimited access to one-on-one classes with all 180 plus Masterclass instructors. So you can learn how to negotiate a raise with Chris Voss or manage your relationships with Esther Perel. There are over 180 classes to pick from, with new ones being added every month. You too can boost your confidence, find practical takeaways that you can apply to your life and at work. And if you own a business or lead a team, you can use Masterclass to empower and create future-ready employees and leaders. Right now, Connected listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership by going to masterclass.com/connected. So get 15% off right now at Masterclass, MasterClass, masterclass.com/connected. Our thanks to Masterclass for their support of the show and Relay FM. Apple surprised everybody with an event coming at a very late time on Monday.
A terrible time. I will be brave and say a terrible
time. 5 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 7 p.m. for me in the middle of the night for y'all. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're doing over there. The artwork is spooky. There's like a ghost finder on the Apple website. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, Finder's dead. That's what it means. This should have been risky.
We're getting files in macOS Sonoma.
Yeah,
no!
It's the end of Finder. It's the end of Finder. Finder's dead.
That would be bad for some of us with a lot of files to keep up with.
You killed it.
Maybe.
You put it through too much work, and now Finder's dead. I hope you're happy with yourself.
But that means we do have a game of Rickies to play. This was thrust upon us just yesterday. These
let's set everyone's expectations. These aren't good. All right?
Speak for yourself.
What do you want from us? Okay. Nobody knows what this event is even for. I genuinely am not even sure that it's worth it. But we'll find out, I guess, next week. But, what are we going to... anyway, we'll talk about it.
The Rickies is a game connected hosts play before Apple keynotes and the beginning of a new year trying to predict future events. It is made up of 3 rounds. Each host makes 2 regular picks followed by a risky pick. There are 2 types of Rickies, annual Rickies and keynote Rickies. We are playing the latter today. The keynote Rickies winner is named the keynote chairman. This position is held until the next keynote. After the Rickies, the host then play a game called the Flexies. These 2 games are separate but related. Please stand for the reading of the rules. Correct regular picks are awarded 1 point. The language used for regular picks must be finalized and agreed upon during recording, and no partial points may be awarded. Correct risky picks are worth 2 points, but wrong ones will cause a point to be deducted from that host's total. Picks must have been approved as risky by the 2 other hosts before the start of the game. A pick cannot be named risky if it has been previously rumored by publications of record, 9to5Mac, or Mac Rumors. Picks made for Keynote Rickies cannot be reused by the host who made them for the next keynote. The annual Rickies have their own subset of rules, but we don't care about those today. All hosts are allowed to reuse picks previously made by others. Scoring is completed during recording and cannot be modified once an episode is complete. In the event of a tie, Dice by PCalc must be used in Relay FM mode to pick a winner. Jason Snell has a lifetime ban on flipping any coins in relation to the Rickies. Coin flips by Jason on other podcasts are allowed, but are frowned upon and subject to public shaming. If you saw the podcastathon, you know what we're talking about. For Keynote Rickies, the scoring window starts when the event begins and closes when the picks are scored. Any information used in scoring must be publicly verifiable at the time of recording. The order of picks is set by previous performance. The winner of the previous associated games goes first. The previous loser goes last. Winners will be recognized during the closing ceremonies. I am the current keynote chairman. Past results can be seen at rickies.co and rickies.net. These sites also have pages about managing your own scorekeeping at home. You may be seated.
Now, did we resolve the rule changes that were proposed during the last event?
I think we need to. I think they're both relatively simple.
Okay.
The first one is about the line, Dice by PCalc must be used in Relay FM mode to pick a winner. We wanted to include the knockout rules because in a 3-way tie, it works a little bit differently. Are you prepared with language for that, Myke, or do you need a week to come up with that language? We can revisit this.
I've forgotten how I've forgotten it.
Okay.
Again.
I'm going to leave that one undone then.
Yeah, we can resolve this just by listening to the last time we
Which
did
was
it.
last time, I believe.
But no, I remember how we do it. We just flip a coin and we all pick heads or tails. Like we just flip one coin and then we just keep going until there's one person left. Like
okay.
That's the way we've always done it.
So Dice
we just need a way to.
In the event of a tie, Dice by PCalc must be used in Relay FM mode to pick a winner. In the case of a three-way tie,
hosts all call at the same time until only one person is left standing.
same time with flipping, continuing until a winner is selected, named. So that's good. The other one, I think, is just a simple word change. So for Keynote Rickies, the scoring window starts when the event begins and closes when picks are scored. We had wanted to change that to when the live stream begins because there was a pick made about the music last time, and we felt like that was fair game.
Yeah, this is good, but it is very funny to me to make a pick for something we will never, I believe, want to use again. But
You never know.
But you never know. So yes, let's change it to the live stream.
Round one, I get to go first because I am the keynote chairman. And my round one pick is Apple announces a new Apple Silicon system on a chip. Discussion point. If they do this, is it weird that the Vision Pro is going to come with an M2 and that we could see the M3?
I don't know that they're going to do this.
Well, that's the pick, my friend. But if they do,
Yeah.
is it, or will the Vision Pro keep them from doing it?
Your pick of its M3, I'm really in two minds about whether this is an event for the M3 or not. Like, I genuinely don't feel like I can answer it one way or another. So, like, this is my feeling about this event in general. I have no idea why. Like, I can't work out why this is happening. Like, I feel like I cannot get my head around what I believe they are going to be announcing. Like, I'm finding this one to be complicated because of its timing, the products that are available, the things that they have and haven't done, and the fact that it's Mac focused. Like, it's because I don't fully understand it, but I know there's a lot of conversation about, like, TSMC had to, like, change part of their process for the 3nm chips, which would suggest that there may have been a delay on the actual real better process. And if that's the case, would they want to do the M3? And also, like, yeah, I'm very confused about this, and I'm not convinced that an M3 will happen, but I also don't feel convinced that it won't. Like, I'm definitely in two minds about it.
Say that they don't have an M3, and this is just the iMac gets an M2 and maybe an M2 Pro or something. Then, like, that's not an event. And,
exactly.
And everything else is on the M2. What I mean, I guess it's possible they could, like, spec bump the M2 somehow, but again, that's not an event.
That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, that. Why would you need to do that? So this is what I mean. There's a lot of information out there at the moment, and none of it really seems to be coalescing around something specific to me,
right?
That would warrant actually having a live stream event. And I know obviously this one is different. I think it is inherently deprioritized by the fact that it is in the evening, and therefore they are not bringing people to an event at Apple Park, which they have been doing now. Like, there's something weird about the setup of this one, which also makes it complicated for me to try and understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's also like, oh, well, you would assume they should have something iPad related, but all of the imagery is about the Mac.
Right.
And the reason I say that is just because they haven't had any iPad releases at all this year.
Yeah.
So I feel very much in two minds about this event.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
As you will see in my picks today, I am just leaning all the way in that this is the M3. And if it's not, I'm going to really suffer next Wednesday. But that's it's definitely complicated.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, I genuinely think, like, the Vision Pro thing could be enough to not have the M3 now.
Agreed. I definitely could see Apple doing that.
They could just put the M2 into the iMac and just, like, not release an update to the MacBook Pros in the same year in which they've already done it. My first, are we good to move on from your first round pick?
Yes. That is my pick. New Apple Silicon system on a chip.
Cool. My first round pick is stolen from a shower thought that Jason Snell had and shared with me on Upgrade, that Apple will be redesigning the 13-inch MacBook Pro.
What do you think it's going to get?
Again, I am stealing this from Jason, but I do think it's like that it will look like the 14 and 16, right? Like, visually, and it won't have a touch bar anymore. No touch bar anymore.
No touch bar. Okay.
And that this is a product that, like, I'm sorry if you listen to Upgrade, because I'm sure I'll repeat what I said then. Like, I think that the 13-inch MacBook Pro is a product that only exists because people want to buy something called a MacBook Pro and they want the cheapest possible thing, because the MacBook Pro's entry-level price is really expensive now, when realistically what the vast majority of these customers would be better served by is the MacBook Air, which is now just like an absolute killer machine. But they get the MacBook Pro because they think they want a MacBook Pro because they used to have MacBook Pros, and or it's like corporations want to say, hey, we're going to get you a MacBook Pro, and everyone gets excited about it, but they actually just want to buy the cheapest one, which means they get everybody the 13-inch MacBook Pro with a touch bar. I don't care what is said on stage during WWDC. I am convinced Apple do not want to continue developing the touch bar into macOS going forward. That is a thing that is clearly dead. It is a choice, quote unquote, that is available to customers now just because they still sell it. But I think that they will want to get rid of it. And if they continue to want to have this 13-inch MacBook Pro in the lineup, which it seems like they do because of price stuff, they need to get rid of the touch bar.
Yeah, I mean, during the live talk show at WWDC, didn't they sort of like poke fun of the talk show a little bit, or poke fun of the talk show?
But John Gruber did, but like Turnus and Jaws were like, people like it. It's an option. They can have it if they want it, and
okay, that's what I remember.
I just think that was very much like we don't have an answer for this question, and so that's the end of it.
I hope they do this. I think it makes a lot of sense to make this really seem like an in-between machine between the Air and the Pro, because that's if it's going to continue, that's what it should be. The touch bar makes it stand out. It doesn't have MagSafe, so if they added MagSafe, then you get basically a Thunderbolt port back. So I hope that this comes to pass.
To answer the thing we were just talking about, maybe this event is M2, an M2 Pro iMacs, and a new 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Could be, yeah, that could be the whole thing.
And the M3 doesn't happen. Like that could be a thing. It is not beefy by any stretch, but I expect that. You remember how like the MacBook Air was just like would never go away, right? And it was just like it seemed they kept revising it, but it never changed.
Yeah,
because it sold a lot. And I expect that. I mean, I would guess that the 13-inch MacBook Pro is probably the best-selling MacBook Pro.
So Apple said, I think when they went to M1 and then maybe M2 as well, the Air is the best-selling notebook, and the 13-inch MacBook Pro is the second best-selling notebook.
And I expect that's still the same. So to them, understandably, that's important and it's worth like shouting about maybe.
But I mean, why use the tagline "scary fast"?
Because they're fast and it's Halloween.
No, it doesn't make. Why you? If you're just, I mean, the M2 is a known entity at this point. Why you need to? Yes. Okay. Well.
I don't think you understand, Federico. It's Halloween,
Silly holiday. Silly. You know the worst part about Halloween? You know what
Give
it
it
is?
to me.
Like, it's supposed to be a spooky holiday,
Yeah,
right?
spooky online names. It's the worst thing.
Well, no. The worst thing is like people dressing up with costumes that are not spooky. Like, how can you say, well, I'm a baseball player? Like, that's not spooky. Like, you're supposed to be a ghost or a vampire or the devil, like whatever. Or a zombie, the chainsaw guy from Resident Evil 4, like you name it. But something spooky. You can be spooky baseball player, but like not just, I'm a fireman. Like, is that it? Like, that's not spooky.
I'm Oppenheimer. Is Oppenheimer scary? Maybe Oppenheimer's scary.
Yes.
He's spooky? Okay.
That is. Anyway, so my pick. I have thoughts. The MacBook Air is not updated at this event. I couldn't come up with anything better than this.
Hey, this is a round one pick, baby. You can say whatever you like.
I gotta get my points. Give me my points. I don't think we're gonna get new MacBook Airs.
It seems unlikely, right? I mean, that's good. Well, I mean, but this is the thing, right? So if Stephen's pick is true,
it could be though,
and we have an M3, like that's in theory the candidate, right? Like, I don't know. Stephen, can we come back to you?
Yes, please.
Can I ask you a question based on what Federico just picked? If they do have a chip, what chip is it and what does it go in, do you think?
Well, just going to have to stay tuned for my future picks.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, well, we'll come back to that.
So at the end of round one, I'm going to just round up the picks again. Stephen said, Apple announces a new Apple Silicon system on a chip. Myke said the 13-inch MacBook Pro is redesigned. And I said the MacBook Air is not updated at this event.
I don't think any of us feel particularly good about any of that.
Nope.
No.
Kind of risky, because
Everything's risky.
everything feels
game.
risky.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what this event feels like, and I feel like it feels like one of the COVID ones. Do you remember
Yes.
when they had like 3 events in a row, month after month?
Oh my God.
And it just got to a certain... Yeah, it was 2020. Because the September event happened, and they didn't announce any iPhones.
Oh,
and so at that point, it was like, all bets are off. Mm-hmm. Especially when they did one in November, because it's like, now what is it going to be? So yeah, so it feels like that again, where it's like, I don't know why this is happening. And so here we are.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, their cadence has kind of been off all year. And look no further than there's been no new iPad hardware other than that pencil.
Mm-hmm.
All right, round 2, my pick is the M1 iMac receives an update. It's the only M1 machine that's like hasn't seen an M2 update or revision. You can still get an M1 MacBook Air, and I understand that because like the M1 MacBook Air is still great, and they can sell it as the cheapest laptop. But there's no M2 iMac, and the design and stuff I think is phenomenal. Like other than it only being 24 inches, that's like my only criticism of that design. I think it's fantastic in every other way. I loved the orange one that I had in the studio for a little while that I reviewed and did a video on 100 years ago. But it is, it's weird that it's just been hanging out. And I think it's going to get an update. And I think either M2 or M3, like I think Gurman at some point reported the iMac was going to skip the M2 and go straight to the M3. Maybe that's coming true. But I don't think that'll sit around with an M1 past this event.
My second round pick is the colors of the iMac are unchanged.
What if there are no new colors, but they jettison some colors? So instead of the 6 colors plus silver, what if it's 4 colors plus silver? That's a change?
Then they've been changed. So I'm going to take that because I amended the wording of the pick.
Yeah, you did.
In such a way that if they don't have a new iMac, this is still correct. So I'm willing to take the other part where, like, if they remove a color, then I'll lose it.
Okay.
So
so hang on. So if they do nothing to the iMac, so 1 week from today, it is the same as it is today, you get this point.
The colors of the iMac are unchanged, aren't they?
That's sneaky. That is sneaky.
Quite sneaky. But hold on. If they do update the iMac, follow me here. The colors, the roster of colors is the same, and they have the same names, but they are visibly different from before.
So like it's a new blue.
Yeah, it's still called blue, whatever.
That's a changed color.
The names of the colors of the iMac are unchanged. No. That's my pick. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, Federico, you should have left the loophole there.
This is the loophole on loopholes of picks. I'm just like...
So hang on. So what we need to do before we
record the names now.
Yes.
Because if they change, we'll never know, right? They'll just like...
Yeah. Hang on. I'm looking at seeing if I can find tech specs. Maybe they're listed there.
Oh, it'd be on the shopping page, right? When you go to buy?
Blue, green, pink, silver, yellow, orange, purple. I'm just going to put that in M1 as a note just so we have it in the future.
Do you not have this saved in Devon Think?
I do, but Safari was faster.
So
they could have... They used to do this with the iPod Nanos, remember? They would like keep blue, green, pink, but they would shift the hues around. And so they could do that. Man, I'm looking at these web pages. I love this computer so much. I wish I had a need for a 24-inch iMac.
It's a great computer. I own one. It's like a trophy.
Yeah.
It's my trophy computer.
I look forward to collecting all the colors in 10 years.
Yeah, it'll be good times.
Yeah, I could do a repeat of what I did with the G3.
No, you know what? I think you should leave that for like the next Stephen Hackett. Right? Like, you shouldn't take that roll on. That should be like someone who's listening to this show right now who's like 14 or something, right?
And they want to be like me when they grow up.
In their 20s, they want to be the guy who has a collection that gets submitted to the Henry Ford Museum. Although, let's be real, this one, as beautiful it is,
do you ever think about this? Do you ever think about this, Stephen? Who's the next Stephen Hackett?
A I try not to. That's kind of a weird existential thought.
Who's the next version of you?
I don't know.
There is someone out there that one of these people exists.
If you're out there, send me an email with your address so I know where you are.
This is like, have you seen have you seen the movie Looper? It's like that. This is what you're going for. If you're out there, tell me where you are. I'm coming to get you.
Coming to get me.
Yeah, no, I think that you need to leave this for like a future generation. Like you got to give somebody else the opportunity to do this, you know.
We'll see.
Someone else who's got to forge their own path and like build up enough cultural cachet where they can just say on a podcast, send me your computers, and people will do it. Like you just have like an unfair advantage now, you know?
All right, so I also have another boring pick, and I'm sorry. I'm actually following the Myke playbook here. My pick is the design of the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro is unchanged.
Yep.
That's my pick. And, you know, I guess the sneaky Myke approach also works here. If there are no new MacBook Pros, this pick still holds true. And if there are new MacBook Pros, how can you consider the unchanged? Well, I guess it's one of those things you'll know it when you see it. Like,
when you see it. Yep.
Going from what are the iPhones that look the same, the 12 and the 13?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, like that. Like you can tell it's the same design, you know?
Where the new one, it's different. Like even though they look the same, it's different, right? The design is new on the 15 because they like rounded the edges off and stuff.
Yes.
Like that's new.
Yeah, that's new. What I'm saying is that they will look, and maybe they will be, I don't know, 20 grams heavier or lighter. But what I'm saying is that from the outside, the design will be unchanged.
I would maybe word that as like the visual design then.
Sure.
I mean, you have different methods of design, right? Like
the visual design of the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro is unchanged.
I think it's a good pick. I mean, the design is really good, and they've only used it for 2 generations, and I think you'll get this for sure.
And they took that design and brought it to the MacBook Air. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, it's the new design, which is why, like, going back to my first pick, it's like you could imagine they might do it to the 13-inch MacBook Pro. If they consider that a product to keep around, it should look like what Apple's laptops look like now.
Definitely. And it's a good design. Like I feel like there was that design article that came out a while ago, and one of the things in there was the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air were designed at the same time. Like, even though we didn't see the Air until later, very clearly it's a design that does scale pretty nicely. And so I can't imagine them throwing that out after just 2 revs.
This is a thermal corner we don't know about.
Unless there's a thermal corner. I will say the only time I've ever heard the fans in my M2 Pro, MacBook Pro, are when I do AI transcripts, which I've now done for all 5 podcastathons. So they're all floating around.
Keep those in Dev and think, right?
Let me recap round 2. I said the M1 iMac receives an update. Myke says the names of the colors of the iMac are unchanged. And Federico says the visual design of the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro is unchanged. This episode is brought to you by Clean My Mac X. Junk files, hung processes, and malicious apps can slow down even the latest, most powerful machines. Maintaining your Mac, whether old or new, orange or not, is essential for smooth macOS performance. And Clean My Mac X is an all-in-one maintenance tool that takes care of old junk, faulty apps, and malware in an efficient, aesthetically pleasing, and hassle-free way. Using the app's menu bar app, you can monitor your Mac's health, CPU load, and more. With nearly 30 million downloads and 15 years of expertise, this app is a must-try for any macOS user. And it's a great time with macOS Sonoma being out and new to make sure that your Mac is in tip-top shape. Apple continues to pack the Mac with innovative features, and Clean My Mac X ensures that your hardware remains healthy and running at peak performance so you can enjoy a seamless macOS experience. I love the design of Clean My Mac X. It is so easy and clear to understand what it's doing, what the different tools do, and how they work, and the process in which it's going through. It's really straightforward, and that's hard to do with utility apps like this. And the team over there clearly have spent lots of time and considering how this app communicates to its users, what it can do and what it is doing. And I love it. All connected listeners will get 5% off by checking out the link in the show notes or by going to macpaw.app/connected. That's Macpaw, MACPAW, macpaw.app/connected. And again, the link is in the show notes. Our thanks to Clean My Mac X for their support of the show and Relay FM. It is now time for our risky picks. I'm swinging for the fences. Apple unveils an iMac Pro.
Okay.
Are you fed up of being the chairman? Like, do you just not want it anymore, or what?
I got inspired by Scary Fast and all the dark artwork. And, Apple knows that pros love space gray computers.
The pros like Halloween?
That has nothing to do with Halloween. That's just a coincidence.
What is the iMac Pro in your mind?
Definitely bigger than 24 inches and comes with the M, let's call it the M3 just for conversation, M3 Pro and or M3 Max.
Would you give it all up for this computer?
I really liked my iMac Pro. There's something nice about the all-in-one lifestyle.
Wait.
But who knows?
Wait. I thought there was something nice about not the all-in-one lifestyle.
There's also things nice about that too.
There's niceness for everyone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know both. Yeah.
Get you a setup that does both,
I mean, you have that already. The situation with the iMac is you would not have both. That's the reason that you said for why you wanted a laptop.
Stephen, do you think that maybe you reached a point where, and please answer honestly, maybe the solution for you is that you just want all the Macs in existence? And sometime, one day you wake up and you're like, this Tuesday feels like a MacBook Pro kind of day. And then you wake up on a Thursday and you're like, today I want to have an iMac. And maybe if we go a layer deeper here in your brain, is your subconscious trying to tell you that you should go back to work at an Apple store?
That's not saying that.
Federico, you said something very important there, and I think it's very clear, and I think you've done it. He does want all the Macs.
You want them all.
His studio is full of them all. Like, Stephen, this is you. He's nailed it. You just want all the Macs, and so you'll keep finding new reasons to get all of the Macs.
Yep.
You should just embrace this.
This is and it's fine if this is what lies underneath it all. It's fine. I understand it. I also kind of want all the iPads.
Yeah, you have created a career for yourself in which it's okay to have all of the Macs. So you should just embrace who you are,
Yeah, I did the dual Mac lifestyle for a long time, and this year I'm doing the MacBook Pro plus Studio Display. So we'll see what happens. I would say if they have an iMac Pro at some point, it would be hard to ignore.
Stephen, all of the Macs hack it. I like this.
Stephen Mackett.
Okay, I'm basically feeding off Stephen's pick here. I'm in his tailwind, drafting behind him. Apple unveils a new Studio Display Pro that is larger than the regular Studio Display and features a new screen technology than the smaller model. I could have stopped halfway, but didn't, and this is where I am.
The passion here.
The passion is thick.
So Studio Display Pro that is bigger than the 27-inch Studio Display we have and features a new screen technology. What are you thinking here? Mini LED?
Probably mini LED, yeah.
I do have a little bit of a contention with the word new. I know what you mean.
New from before.
Well, that's not been on a studio. It's not been on
but not necessarily something all new like Space OLED or something.
Here's what I'm thinking. It's a 27-inch display that is the same panel as the MacBook Pro's panel. So it's got ProMotion.
But that wouldn't be bigger. Because you also say larger. And it's currently 20.
I just said 27 inches.
The Studio Display is 27 inches now. And your pick says larger.
Apple unveils. Can I just get rid of the larger part then?
I think both larger and new technology.
Wait, you think Apple hold on. You think Apple unveils a Studio Display Pro that features a new screen technology than the smaller model is not risky?
I think the size is an important aspect of this.
This is BS, but yeah, keep it as it is. Whatever.
I mean, what size is the Pro Display XDR?
32.
32. Myke, in your mind, why should this new Studio Display exist? What does it do?
You can plug your MacBook Pro into a screen and not take a downgrade.
Okay. So is it mostly about screen size or display quality?
It's the technology.
Okay.
Is what I'm actually thinking about more.
Okay.
I was thinking about the 24-inch display on the iMac and was
I
bigger
thought
than that.
you might have been.
Yeah.
So
it's fine. Leave it as it is. Leave it. No, it was the rule said I had to have it. Agreed. Okay. Leave it as it is. It's fine. Okay. And if everything exists other than larger, I'll just take the moral victory, but I won't take the actual points. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I hope they do this because the Studio Display panel is old, right? It's like the 5K iMac panel more or less, and the MacBook Pros and even some of the iPads can do so much more than the Studio Display can do right now.
And then also I'm sure you could like plug a MacBook Air into it and get like ProMotion. Because I bet the MacBook Air's internals could support it. It just doesn't have to screen for it. Maybe. Well, I mean, if an iPhone can do it.
Well, it's like the problem with Retina desktop back in the day. It's the matter of how you get the data to that display. Like, does Thunderbolt have enough bandwidth for ProMotion or something else? If it's just micro LED or OLED, obviously the bandwidth's not a concern, but other features may depend on that.
I bought the domain allofthemacs.com and forwarded that to Stephen's website.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
All of the Macs. Kind of like the...
All of the Macs?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So it's time for my risky pick. So I should preface this by saying this is something I want and that I'm sort of willing into existence. I don't actually think it's coming true, but hey, whatever. Apple introduces a new desktop keyboard and or trackpad that supports connecting to multiple devices at once. They also support USB-C connections now. So my thinking is the desktop versions of the Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad, they gotta update them to USB-C, right? Because they're still using Lightning. So while they're doing that, why not also finally support devices to multiple connections? Now that, the using an iPad at a desk with an external monitor is an established reality, and with the Vision Pro coming out next year, why not finally have a keyboard and trackpad that you can seamlessly pair with a Mac or with the Vision Pro all at once, or with an iPad and with a Mac, and and so forth. It's really, these devices, these accessories, they're really looking quite silly in comparison to other third-party keyboards when it comes to multi-device connections. And Apple could do it better than anybody else. Like, I keep thinking that the same switching technology that you have for AirPods could be used for input devices. So I'm hoping that the fact that they need to update them for USB-C maybe also gives them an opportunity to go the extra mile and support multiple device connections. I don't think it's coming true, but the alternative, so we discussed this before the show. I'm going to use this as a flexi, but my other risky pick was at least one M3 series chip introduces support for Thunderbolt 5. That was my other risky I was considering.
You're not making it a flexi?
I am making it a flexi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in my flexis. I think it's still a little too early maybe for Thunderbolt 5 in the M3, given that there are basically no Thunderbolt 5 accessories announced whatsoever. So maybe this is more an M4 or M5 kind of thing down the road. So yeah, I chose the keyboard and trackpad Ricky instead.
I was thinking about this last week, right? Because you were talking about your dream for like the AirPods style switching. And I was trying to think like, how could that work for input devices? Because like, how would you be able to tell the other computer that you wanted it to be there? Like, I don't understand how you could do that, because you can't interact with the computer if the devices are not already connected. Like, I feel like it would have to be a physical connection, like physical button, like the MX Keys has or something to be able.
But maybe it's just more a matter of, it could be smart, like the system could be smart and be like, okay, I see that, if this device was previously paired with this keyboard and trackpad and you're now looking at a login screen, I am going to assume that you want to use them with this computer and I'm going to let you type your password, for example. Like that could be a typical scenario. Or it could be a physical control, right? Maybe we are overthinking this. Could be just a little switch.
I think if they wanted to do this, which I think they should do it, why not? It should be you would want a physical control. It's a little button.
And I mean, and that's fine. That's fine as long as you just let me pair them with multiple devices at once.
Just let me do it.
Which is impossible. Just let me do it, and it's no bother to press a little switch. But right now, it's
keyboards
impossible.
have lots of buttons on them already. So,
you can fit one more in there.
They're known for that. So
what's one more? It's
exactly
it's fine. Yes. So once again, the text of my risky pick is: Apple introduces a new desktop keyboard and or trackpad that supports connecting to multiple devices at once. They also support USB-C connections now.
You're boned if they just release a new mouse that does this and nothing else. It's such an iPad user thing. Oh yeah, mice exist.
No, I can't believe if they do it.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do just the mouse.
It's got to be the one that people use the least, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That'd be incredible. We have a new Magic. What is it now? Magic Mouse.
I think it's still the Magic Mouse. Yeah.
Second gen Magic Mouse. Yeah.
I almost said Mighty Mouse. I was like, no, that's the wrong thing.
That was the one with the ball in it, right?
Yes, they got stuck all the time. Like the ball get gummed up. You have to go clean it. It's terrible. So those are our regular picks and our risky picks.
Maybe we'll actually have a result that isn't a three-way tie, though, which will be nice.
Three-way tie, we all have -1 point.
Oh, no, see, that's sad. I feel like someone is at least going to get a point. Like, we spread it enough over the products, I think.
I think so.
That I think someone's going to get points. I just hope somebody actually wins.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Indeed. No one wins while playing the waiting game. And when it comes to hiring, you can't just wait for great talent to find you. You need to find them first with Indeed. When you're hiring, you need Indeed because Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. So instead of spending hours across multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, you can use their powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. Indeed streamlines hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. Indeed's hiring platform really is great. Candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Even better, Indeed is the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements, making it an unbelievably powerful hiring platform, delivering 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that are using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your post at Indeed.com/connected. This offer is good for a limited time, so claim your $75 credit now at Indeed, INDEED, Indeed.com/connected. That shows your support of this show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Our thanks to Indeed for their support of the show and Relay FM. The Flexies is a game held after each edition of the Rickies. It consists of a series of additional picks in relation to the upcoming Apple event or year. Scoring is completed separately from the main game, but like the Rickies, the order of picks is set by the results of the previous game, and ties will be broken using Dice by PCalc. Please lie down as the rules are read. Hosts must make a minimum of 5 Flexi picks. Each correct pick is awarded with 1 point. Wrong picks do not remove any points, and no partial points may be awarded. The winner is determined by comparing the percentage of correct flexies made by each host. The winner can use their chosen title as long as they are the winner. Federico shall be named Prince Flexi and known as King Flexi when having won both the keynote and annual games. Myke has chosen Duke of Flexington and uses the name Archduke Flexington when applicable. I am the Attorney General Flexi and use the title Secretary of Deflex when necessary. Loser of the Flexies must compensate the winner by donating to a charity of the winner's choice. The amount of the donation is $25 per wrong Flexi made by the loser. The money must be donated on air. Federico is the current winner of the keynote Flexies and Myke is the winner of the annual Flexies. And if someone holds all 4 titles, they are allowed to choose their own name. You may be seated.
5 Flexies, and I struggled to come up with even a basic amount of Flexies.
Yeah. No one has 8 this time.
Number 1, Johnny Shruji makes an appearance. He's the chip guy. Maybe there will be new chips. I am assuming there will be an M3 for this event. Again, based on the tagline, and I'm assuming that the person in charge of the chips will say something.
Can I ask you both a question? Because we keep mentioning taglines, and do they actually really mean anything? Because I feel like depending on who you ask, depending on which time it is, it either does or doesn't, you know?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think that makes it all the more fun. I think Apple sometimes goes super generic, and then other times they basically tell,
Number 2, the event video is less than 90 minutes. I don't think it'll be a long affair.
All right, if it crosses an hour, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be short and sweet.
Number 3, this was my discarded Ricky.
Oh.
At least one M3 series chip introduces support for Thunderbolt 5, a first for the industry. This is my binned Ricky, if you will.
What does Thunderbolt 5 get me?
It gets you 80 gigabit per second transfers, and with the boost technology that they have, up to 120 gigabit per second if you're doing like heavy video intensive tasks.
Wow.
So it's like it doubles the bandwidth essentially available to you, and it's still backwards compatible with USB-C, DisplayPort, and all those other standards. But there are no Thunderbolt controllers. I mean, yes, Zach in Discord, one might say scary fast. That was my thinking before. Like, if this actually comes true and I didn't use it as a risky pick, I'm going to be so upset.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
Number 4, Vision Pro is mentioned at some point during the video. So I have this idea that Apple needs to remind people that this thing is coming out and it's going to be very expensive. And every opportunity they get, they like to mention, hey, Vision Pro is going well. Vision OS, it's happening. So I'm assuming that they will drop in a mention of the Vision Pro somewhere in the video. And finally, number 5, at least one computer or accessory that gets updated is less expensive in the US than before. Maybe price drop for something. Maybe the MacBook Pros will be $50 cheaper or whatever. Maybe the new trackpad will be cheaper. We'll see.
Did you see that services are more expensive now?
Yeah, well, they like to make their money there. Maybe big savings in hardware and price hike in software.
Some kind of Halloween joke is made. Genuinely, okay, my expectation is Greg Joswiak is dressed as something. That's my expectation.
Oh my God.
But other than that,
big with this one.
Some kind of a Halloween joke is made. I believe someone will say carbon neutral.
I want to go back to the Halloween thing for a second.
Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know what event. It was some event. It was hardware only. And the camera was like panning through Apple Park, and it passed Craig Federighi, who looked very stressed. And then they moved on because it was all a hardware event. Maybe that happens this time, but we see Craig like dressed up as something.
Yes.
And wandering across the background. That could be fun.
And look, Craig Federighi likes to dress up, people like to dress up Craig Federighi. Whether he likes it or not, I'm not sure, but they like to do it. So I could imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not here to judge what a man does in his private home.
I mean, he always looks good while doing it. So, pick number 3, all outside shots are filmed in the evening.
Yes, I like that a lot.
I think they like to, like, I can imagine this scenario. It's like, hey, it's nighttime for us too, you know? 4, John Turnus looks great. 5, at least one
Highlighting
Mac.
it green right now.
At least one Mac is available to order today.
That's bold.
And 6, we do not get new AirPods Max, even though I want them. That's my 6 flexies.
Is the AirPods Max the saddest thing on sale currently at apple.com?
Yeah. It's
It
rough.
may be. It may be.
It's really rough. I want them, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just doesn't feel like it's ever the time. I don't remember if you said it on this show, Federico, or on another show, but they're like HomePod now, and that makes me really sad. But I think that's where they are. They're just like the original HomePod. They're going to stick around for a really long time, and then we're going to think they're going to get rid of them because it's been so long, and then they're like, haha, we did it again.
So you made 6.
I
We
made
should
6.
just note that you somehow came up with 6, which is impressive. I've got 5. First, the iMac's input devices were updated with USB-C, but otherwise remain the same. Pushing back on Federico's risky a little bit. If they update the iMac at all, they have to do USB-C, right? There's no way they keep shipping Lightning keyboards and stuff.
What if Lightning just becomes like the accessory connector?
That'd be so sad.
This is what it's for.
Number 2 was my Bend Risky. I never brought it to y'all, but it was like in my little Apple note, it was in contention for the Risky. The M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max are all announced.
Oh, all of them. Okay.
All of them. And I say this because there are rumors that the regular MacBook Pro, not the weird 13-inch, but the 14 and 16 would get an update. That means that there has to be an M3 Pro and M3 Max unless they somehow update it but keep the M2 in them. So I'm just I told you at the beginning of this, I'm leaning into it being M3 time. Number 3, the Mac Mini.
I would say that would be very bold that they would do them all. Like that seems like a lot because then you've got to have enough products to put them all in if you're going to do that, right? And I'm not.
And your TSMC business has to all be straightened out.
Which I just don't think it is.
But I mean, also, let's face it, right? So they're doing an event. Yeah, and it's weird timing, online only, but it's still an event, a pre-announced thing with graphics and everything.
It's not press releases, right? Like
it's not a press release, so it's gotta be something. Otherwise, if you just do an event to say, "Oh, hey, here's an iMac with an M2," like no, there's gotta be something. There's gotta be something.
However, number 3 says the Mac Mini is not updated.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Mac Mini. I did not even cross my mind.
It has the M2 and the M2 Pro.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't, Apple has done these things at different paces, and maybe this is iMac and MacBook Pro and the Mac Mini is the same. I'm spreading my flexies around here. Number 4, the iPad isn't even mentioned.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. What iPad?
It remains a product in our lineup.
And number 5, we do not see Tim Cook on video.
No.
I have grounding for this.
No. That's
No,
wild.
I have grounding.
This could have been a risky.
No, it's not because there's precedent. So I'm pulling it up. I'm going to have the YouTube link.
I mean, there can be precedent, but if you would have brought this to me as a risky pick, it would be easy. Easy for me to say, yes, this is risky.
See, when they did the M2 Pro and M2 Max MacBook Pro, and the M2 and M2 Pro Mac Mini, that was a YouTube thing. It was 18 minutes long. No Tim Cook. It was all John Turnus. Daddy Turnus was driving.
My favorite. Obviously, I knew this, Stephen. How could I forget my favorite presentation? And so I watched it. I know this well. But I still think that they were weird times, right? Where, like, no one really knew what was going on, right? Like, about... Wait, no, this is... Wait, when was this?
A year ago.
Oh, then ignore what I'm about to say. Forget that.
Yeah, 9 months ago, even. 9 months.
Can we go back to Mike's 4th flexi for a second? Because I was thinking about John Turnus looks great. Like, how can that be objectively graded?
You know it when you see it. And when you see it, you'll be like, it looks
But he
great.
always looks great.
Exactly. So you'll know it when you see it. There's no arguments here.
This is the only way this point is not an already given point is that if John Turnus is not in the event,
He could be, yes, also, but he could also be like, I don't know, like really, really tired, you know?
No, that's not
They
going to
might
happen. because he always-
Halloweenify him in some way, and he doesn't look great.
Maybe he comes out as a zombie.
I'd still be into it, but like other people might not, you know?
What if, okay, brainwave time. What if everyone we see from Apple in this event is dressed up like someone else from Apple?
Oh, God, I would love that.
Oh my god.
John Turnus, instead of like dark jeans and a tight shirt, comes out with kind of an oversized button-down short sleeve shirt, and he's Phil Schiller.
But does he also have a mask?
Like a Schiller mask.
You remember when they did the video and what was Tim Cook removing the mask from?
Oh yeah, the M1 iPad. Yeah,
Because he stole it for some reason. He stole the chip or something.
and it just slapped right into an iPad.
Oh my god, they should bring back the masks.
I will say, Stephen, that thing that you just mentioned about like everyone's dressed up as someone else, like this, they just don't have the courage that we do to come up with these ideas, right? Like we should be the ones that come up, because that would just be really, really funny. But you just know they won't do it.
I keep saying we should work at Apple.
Just on the events.
Kate, John Turnus dyes his hair to match Craig Federighi.
That'd be great. I'd love it.
Oh my god, yes.
This is what I'm talking about. It's an impossible situation. He's gonna look good.
And that's a real Daddy Turnus moment.
That's a flexi in the bag. That's why I went for 6, because obviously one of them just in the bag already. So I gotta be fair to everyone. So
that's our picks. We will be back on Wednesday grading these based on Apple's event. And I'm sure we'll be hanging out in the Relay Discord, and I'm sure Mac Stories will have a bunch of stuff. It's going to be a fun but weird week next week.
I'm gonna watch it in bed. That's my plan. I'm just gonna have my iPhone. I'm just gonna go to bed and I'm gonna watch it.
If you want to find links to the stuff we spoke about, head on to the website at relay.fm/connected/473. There you can submit feedback. You can become a member and get ad-free, longer versions of the show each and every week. Membership also comes with access to the Relay FM Discord, some monthly members-only podcasts, a newsletter, some wallpapers, a bunch of cool stuff. You can find us all online. You can find Myke on other shows here on Relay FM and his work over at Cortex Brand. You can follow him online. He is iMyke at myke.social on Mastodon, and just plain old iMyke over on Threads and Instagram.
Plain old iMyke. Plain old
Vanilla iMac. Yeah.
He didn't have to put numbers at the end of his name like I did.
No, well, because I got one Instagram account and just kept it, right, rather than deleting it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that was the pro move. You can find me on Instagram and Threads as ISMH86 and ISMH at eworld.social on Mastodon. You can
Just change it to 64, and then it will be cool every time you say it.
ISMH64.
Because it's 2 numbers anyway. No one else even knows what 86 means. But if it's 64, you sound cool.
Yeah.
And you know my love of the N64, the greatest console of all time.
It's the only video gaming you know.
Yeah, and on a secondary level, you're also sort of leaning into your age a little. Like
I was born in 1964. That's what it means.
Like it works better in all circumstances.
Scary Music Boy, ISMH512.
No, 64.
Okay, we'll see. You never know what'll happen. You can find my writing at 512pixels.net, and I co-host Mac Power Users each and every Sunday here on Relay FM. You can find Federico as Vitici at macstories.net on Mastodon. You can't find him on Threads because he's in the EU.
Any day now.
Macstories.net, I'm sure will be popping off next week with all this exciting Mac news. So follow along there. Are you guys going to do anything? I guess probably not right after the event because it's late. But
no, I'm gonna be sleeping after. I'm gonna be sleeping after the event. That's what I'm gonna do. But we still need to decide. I'm guessing probably do something on App Stories too. I mean, obviously we'll recap the announcements. John will. I will be sleeping because that would be 2 or 3 a.m. We'll see.
Well, tell John, if you're listening, I'm around. I can be your Federico for a night.
Do you have glasses to wear?
I mean, just regular ones, not computer glasses.
No, they gotta be computer glasses.
It's a prerequisite of working at Myke Stories.
Yeah.
Wait, BYOCG.
Bring your own computer glasses.
Yes.
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 Everyone knows that. Everyone knows
I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Masterclass, Clean My Mac X, and Indeed. Until next week when we judge these picks, boys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.